quickly before we jump into today's video, almost seemingly commonplace now at this point, I want to let you guys know about the daily order in which you can end up getting from Major Howards. This, though, being one that honestly is much more useful than the others. I'm not a huge shotgun guy, and I'm really not that big of an LMG player, and of course, definitely not a pistol player either, but I do like the rifles. And the BAR, or BAR, Browning Automatic Rifle, whatever you want to call it by, actually has one today for free within Major Howards, and it's not just an epic, it's a heroic. So we end up seeing it today for 75 ADS kills with rifles, which should be rather easy to obtain, the BAR Old Captain 2 heroic variant. So you get that 15% extra bonus XP, as well as just a weapon that is honestly very useful all around in whatever playstyle you may end up using it in, all for free, just for 75 ADS kills with rifles. Again, this one took me no time to complete. I think you guys can totally do it. Jump into a game of war, hold a line of sight, something like that. It'll be very easy to pick this off in no time. So for free today only. Want to let you guys know about it though before we jump into the content at hand. But with that said, take advantage of it, but let's get going. So as it stands right now, we are in the last week of the Blitzkrieg event. Personally, I thought Blitzkrieg was pretty fun, but a little less eventful than I initially anticipated, if I'm being totally honest with you. We only ended up seeing 4 collections for the Blitzkrieg event itself in the collections out of the Quartermaster, and we only had 1 weekend of double XP for everybody, and only in select playlists at that. It was for Ground War, which hopefully does stay longer than just this Blitzkrieg event. Ground War was a ton of fun. I went back and played some regular 6v6 TDM, and man, was it way slower than I anticipated because I was so used to Ground War, but I digress. We didn't really have all that much double XP stuff. There was a big stress on the party up double XP modes, for which people like me who play solo, it was kind of a missed chance here at that. We ended up also seeing a few bribe issues and such, but ultimately I think that the Blitzkrieg event was a good time. I always do enjoy the events in COD World War II, and I hope that we have another one here in a short period of time. If I were to take an educated guess, and this is all theory and speculation, I'd say maybe about a week to 2 after the Black Ops 4 reveal, but regardless, that's not what we're talking about here today. What we are going to talk about is that yesterday we saw the content calendar for the game and a little bit of the game itself refresh in a sense, but because of the updates to Black Ops 3, we didn't talk too much about it at the single point in time that it happened, so we're talking about it here at this one, the changes in COD World War II that resulted as of the final update for the Blitzkrieg event. So nothing huge or game-changing was in the sense of fixes, but a few things on the surface was actually switched up, and jumping right into it, we see firstly the changes to the orders and the contracts. So firstly, we end up seeing the weapon contract being refreshed out. Last week it was the Ice Pick, the week before that it was the GPMG. This week it is the Gewehr 43 for 4,000 armory credits. It lasts 2 hours and all you need is 150 kills with rifles for that one. So one thing that I take away from this is that we kind of see the rotation starting to roll out here at this. We ended up seeing the GPMG, then the Ice Pick, now the Gewehr 43. My guess is that next week we'll see the Sten or the Trench Knife in the sense of continuing on with the Winter Siege items, and then moving over into the Resistance items like the Volkssturm Gewehr, like the Orso, like the Combat Knife, like the Enfield No. 2 and the Rikers Revolver, and so on and so forth. So maybe after those items for Resistance, we start to see the Blitzkrieg items like the Baseball Bat, like the Type 38, like the Type 5, like the M2, all those added in a weekly update after that. So we just continue this going on and moving forward in this same sort of rotation we've kind of already seen established. But if you guys do not have the Gewehr 43 by this point in time, whether it be any variants of the base weapon, it is available right now until 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 6 p.m. GMT. But that does it for essentially the contract changes. We ended up seeing all the other ones, the War, the Kill Confirmed, the TDM, all those still are the same, but moving over into the orders, this is where they change up a little bit. Once again, obviously today we do have that BAR Old Captain variant, but that is only for today. As for the other things, we end up having the addition of the weekly orders from 300 kills in Ground War, and this goes for all of them, the Ground War Standard Mosh Pit, the Ground War Hardcore Mosh Pit, and then Ground War as well. So this is incredibly easy, all for a Blitzkrieg bribe that you end up getting on top of this. Once again, this one took maybe about an hour to 2 hours depending on when you end up playing it. Personally, I think that I end up getting a lot of kills per game, so that might be just me. Might take you a little bit more time, but in the grand scheme of things, 300 kills for a weekly contract, pretty easy to obtain. Now, as well, we also have the ability to get 350 kills in hardcore modes for a rare supply drop, and then 35 score streaks called in for another rare supply drop as well. But according to the calendar that Sledgehammer actually released, we're gonna see a little bit of a curveball starting on Friday the 4th, to which we'll see a special order for completing 150 matches for 5 Blitzkrieg bribes. 5 of them, not just one, 5 though. So 150 matches and you'll net all 5 of those, but also we'll probably end up seeing the regular contract added in for this at some point for 90 kills in 50 minutes for a Blitzkrieg bribe as well. That was one that was mentioned in week 1 as well, but I didn't see it in that regard, so maybe we'll see it come for that, but that's a little confusing in the way that it was worded. But keep those in mind. Those are going to be the additions here for this weekend, but I'm definitely going to try and grind out my heroic weapon bribe that I have as my special order by Friday so that I can capitalize on that 150 matches special order. Because 5 bribes, man, you kidding me? That's a great deal. The next thing to mention deals with the community challenge, because this is the last week for this community challenge. It ends when the Blitzkrieg event ends as well. Unfortunately, right now as it stands, we're still a little bit behind schedule, and to which I wish we would have been able to start this from the very beginning of the Blitzkrieg event. It was about a, 5-day wait period or something like that. It was either that Tuesday to Friday or some sort of situation where it was not the start of the event itself, but instead a few days later. That's when we ended up starting. If we ended up having this from the very beginning of the Blitzkrieg event, I think that we actually would have gotten it. As it stands right now, we're averaging about 3.8 million orders and contracts a day completed, but at this pace, as it stands at the current point, we'll end up finishing just under 71 million contracts and orders completed, and we have to get 75 million. So we need to pick up the pace just a little bit here to get not only tier 4, but also that final tier of the Rosie 2 Grease Gun variant. Hopefully, once again, we see some sort of reprieve in either some easier orders and contracts, but as it stands right now, we might not complete it. So grind it out if you have the opportunity to do so this upcoming week for World War II, but if not, well, hopefully we get some sort of, well, you tried sort of situation and they give it to us anyway, or I don't know what will happen. But again, a little close to the cusp. We'll see what happens. Then after that, we can move over into the zombies orders, talking a little bit more about orders and contracts, to which the weekly is updated for this, in which you can end up getting for a rare zombie supply drop for each of these, killing 750 zombies with headshots, 500 zombies using the electrical attacks, and then as well acquiring 30 medals for completing objectives. So all that is what you're going to be able to get for rare zombie supply drops. You of course still have those daily ones that do refresh every single day, but bear those in mind that those were adjusted here. And moving out of that, also it says on the calendar events to have the ability to kill 50 Brenner zombies. So we'll see if that gets thrown in the mix, because there is going to be another weekly refresh apparently according to the timer as of tomorrow. So we'll see what happens with that one. But again, those are available for you guys. And if you're really hardcore dead set on helping out the community contract and the community challenge for the Rosie 2, definitely try and take advantage of all the orders and all the contracts for multiplayer and zombies, because that will give you the ability to once again have the opportunity to complete as many as possible. We often see that we can end up doing 18 on the best possible scenario, best day whenever they first refresh for one or the other, but together, of course, you have the opportunity to do 36. So take advantage of that if you guys have the opportunity and are willing to put the time into zombies and multiplayer. That can really help out the community's case, but those are the refreshes here for those. Now the final things that I really want to mention deal a little bit with the double XP events here at this, because like we mentioned, there really weren't all that many major double XP events, which was kind of surprising for a brand new complete update of the headquarters, the game itself, all kinds of new content thrown in. We only really saw one major double XP event for everybody, and I think it was, if I'm not mistaken, limited only to ground war. But we end up seeing midweek mobilization for this, and again, weekend warfare for this weekend as well within double XP, continuing the trend that we had for the first 2 weeks of the Blitzkrieg event. So starting today, it ended up happening was the midweek mobilization, and it goes until tomorrow. That is for Party Up double XP in ground war, which again started today, and all of double XP in zombies, which that'll last again until tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now, as for the weekend warfare, this is one that I was kind of upset about, because it's not as grandiose as you might think for a sort of last hurrah in terms of the last weekend of an event. We end up seeing triple feed double XP in headquarters 24/7 only. Not across the board, not in ground war, only in the headquarters playlist, but it is triple feed double XP, which will offer you 2 times soldier XP, 2 times weapon XP, and 2 times division XP. That starts tomorrow and goes until the 10th, so a little bit after when the event itself actually ends up completing, and we get a little bit of a full actual week of that. But again, it's nothing super massive or super grandiose in the sense of double XP events that we've seen in the past. It's only specific to that HQ 24/7 different playlists, which personally, I don't really go into all that much. But ultimately, to end it up, well, that's where we're really at for all the changes in World War II for the final week of the Blitzkrieg event. But that said, it also is the final week, so collect those orders and contracts so you can chip away at not only the community challenge, but also your supply drop collection, because we only have 4 collections for the Blitzkrieg event. But make sure that you try and get those if you haven't chipped away at them at all. They're going to be locked up and done when the event is complete. So even if you end up getting something out of that collection and finishing a collection off entirely, you won't be able to collect the rewards. So if you are interested in that, make sure you do that. Make sure you get your fill of maybe Ground War. I would hope that it's not leaving, but just in case, play that a lot. Play Headquarters 24/7 a lot if you have the opportunity. But again, this is the final week of the Blitzkrieg event, so hopefully you have some fun with it and hopefully enjoy the continued theme that we've seen the past couple of weeks. But that said, that's what's gonna wrap it up. So I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section down below. Were you guys happy with how Blitzkrieg came about? Were you a little bit underwhelmed? Were you a little bit hoping for more? Whatever it may be, let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. No right or wrong answer, I'm just genuinely curious. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Call of Duty World War II, anything regarding best class setups, tips, tricks, news, information, updates like this, all that good stuff we got you covered here on the channel. So if any of it interests you, make sure that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. And if you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter. So if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. And finally, if you guys want to follow me over on Instagram, trying to get more active over there as well, that link is as well in the description below. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.